Hi kiddos, it's Mrs. Trace again. I hope you had a great weekend. All right, here we go. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, voices quiet, bodies calm. This is how we listen. This is how we listen at group time. At group time. Let's start with our alphabet letter sound song. The A says ah. The A says ah. Every letter makes a sound. The A says ah. The B says B. The B says B. Every letter makes a sound. The B says B. The C says K. The C says K. Every letter makes a sound. The C says K. The D says D. The D says D. Every letter makes a sound. The D says D. The E says Eh. The E says Eh. Every letter makes a sound. The E says Eh. The F says F. The F says F. Every letter makes a sound. The F says F. The G says G. The G says G. Every letter makes a sound. The G says G. The H says H. The H says H. Every letter makes a sound. The H says H. The I says I. The I says I. Every letter makes a sound. The I says I. The J says J. The J says J. Every letter makes a sound. The J says J. The K says K. The K says K. Every letter makes a sound. The K says K. The L says O. The L says O. Every letter makes a sound. The L says O. The M says mm. The M says mm. Every letter makes a sound. The M says mm. The N says mm. The N says mm. Every letter makes a sound. The N says mm. The O says ah. The O says ah. Every letter makes a sound. The O says ah. The P says p. The P says p. Every letter makes a sound. The P says p. The Q says qu. The Q says qu. Every letter makes a sound. The Q says qu. The R says er. The R says er. Every letter makes a sound. The R says er. The S says s. The S says s. Every letter makes a sound. The S says s. The T says t. The T says t. Every letter makes a sound. The T says t. The U says The U says Every letter makes a sound. The U says The V says V. The V says V. Every letter makes a sound. The V says V. The W says W. The W says W. Every letter makes a sound. The W says W. The X says X. The X says X. Every letter makes a sound. The X says X. The Y says Y. The Y says Y. Every letter makes a sound. The Y says Y. The Z says Z. The Z says Z. Every letter makes a sound. The Z says Z. Ooh, you're good at that. All right, let's move on. All right, here's our numbers. Let's count to 10. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do that again. I would like to see you with your fingers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 fingers. Awesome. Okay, and here are our shapes. We have this one, which has 1, 2, 3 sides, and that is a triangle. We have this one that has 0 sides. That's a circle. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal sides. That's a square. I'm going to see what I can do with these because shapes can be fun. I can make a house. Let's see. Ooh, I can make, there's a head. And we'll pretend that's a dress. So I made a little girl. I can make, let's see, let's put this guy right there. Let's make a robot. You've got some shapes in your school kit. I would love for you to bring those to our group Zoom on Monday, and we're going to make some pictures with our shapes. You can even start that later today if you would like. I only have a circle, a square, and a triangle, but you can use whatever shapes you have. Hey, see you later, kiddos. Bye-bye.